Hello everyone, it's Pixo here, your French tier list fan. Welcome back to a brand new tier list video. I love tier list. And if you love tier list too, then welcome my friend, you're in the right place at the right time. Today we are diving into a big one, the secondary skills tier list of Heroes of Might and Magic 2. Quick disclaimer, as always, this tier list is 100% personal. It's based on my experience, my own taste, and countless hours on this wonderful game. You might not agree with me, that's totally fine, and that's exactly the point of this tier list. Don't hesitate to jump into the comments and challenge my rankings. Heated debates and passionate exchanges are what keep the Heroes community alive after all these years. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, it really does help the channel. This is a very special tier list, something brand new for the channel. We are going to go through all the 14 secondary skills in the game. Some of them are absolutely game-breaking, others are totally forgettable, but every single one deserves a spot in this tier list. Alright, let's do it! Now we start with Archery! Archery! Yoo-hoo! A skill made for, well, shooters. The range unit of the game. Right off the bat, this is an excellent secondary skill. Very useful. The basic one gives you plus 10% damage, and most importantly, it completely removes the infamous minus 50% penalty when shooting through the castle walls. Already it's super useful at the basic level, because beyond the damage boost, it allows your shooters to immediately have an impact when sieging a town, like that classic Day 7 Week 1 rush to secure a castle and start production into the enemy castle you just get. That's huge! Advanced Archery give you plus 25% damage, and Expert Archery give you plus 50% damage, which is massive. This is a solid top A tier, and some of you might rank it A plus tier, S tier, but it's not always useful, and not always useful for all factions, including the Necromancer, and you won't necessarily pick it automatically every time, but it's a skill that very often proves valuable at expert level. It drastically increases the damage of your shooters, 50% more. This is excellent. It's insane, especially in the hands of a strong might hero. So yes, for me, it fully deserves a spot in A tier. Archery A tier. Ballistics! Next up, the Ballistics, a skill only useful during the sieges, since it boosts your catapult. At basic level, your catapult simply deals more damage. At advanced level, it gets an additional shot. And at expert level, every single hit destroys the structure it lands on. Partly, but destroy it. You don't miss a shot, okay? And that's very important. This was one of the very first meh skills on my list. Initially, I was too harsh and I had ranked it lower. But after discussing with my French friends of the Heroes of Might and Magic 2 High Console, I reconsidered it and put it in B tier. Because, why? Because in the end, it can actually give you a significant advantage, faster city conquest in early game to get through those awful walls when you have a weak army at the starting of the game, and if you want to have faster economy and production and get a fast conquest, a blitzkrieg, so you don't let your enemy, your opponent, get a lot of production before you, so you get this castle before Day 7, Week 1, or at least as fast as possible. So yeah, Ballistics, knowing the fact you don't have many choices of skills in Heroes 2, it's kind of C+, but to me, honestly, B- tier. It's a solid, average, early, including late game for late siege utility. So that's not a C tier, that's a B tier. A B- tier, but a B tier. I wait for your comments and your discussion, I love it. Now we move to diplomacy. Ooh, this skill. One of the most interesting, controversial, and difficult to manage skill in the entire game. Diplomacy deserves a video on its own. This is probably the most complex secondary skill to rank. Even understanding how it works is a challenge. If you want extremely detailed info, you got to check out the excellent page made to diplomacy, dedicated to diplomacy in Russian, so Google Translate it, I think, unless you are Russian, of course. And go check the details of what I'm saying, because it's so complex that it deserves, like a study, like a diploma for this. A diplomacy. A graduate? No, but diploma in English. I don't know if diploma in English is correct. We say diploma in French is like graduate, like get a diploma. I don't know. Whatever. Diplomacy has a ton of utilities, and that's why even not used with is basic utility, which is of course recruiting neutral creatures on the map for a really lot of gold. You can too, you can also access to Xanadu's for heroes under level 10, because heroes under level 10 normally can visit these dwellings. The heroes under level 10 normally can visit these buildings. But with diplomacy, they can at basic level 8, at advanced diplomacy level 6, and expert diplomacy only level 4. Each visit will give you +1 to all primary stats, which is huge and can be a huge early advantage if you manage to have diplomacy expert very quickly. But that's not often the case, so you have to understand this. You can have a cheaper reddition, a cheaper surrender against money. Normally reddition, surrender cost against a hero to give to retry back your units cost 50% of your total army value. With diplomacy, it reduces at 40% at basic, 30% on advanced, and only 20% at expert level. And that's pretty good, but sometimes you have to do this, so that's nice. And of course, you can collect some artifacts on the map, which is dedicated to diplomat people. But of course, the main attraction of this skill is recruiting neutral troop. And this is where the things get wild and very complex. Normally, without diplomacy, neutrals might join you if your army is at least 5 times stronger than the neutral creatures, which is calculated with an algorithm very complex of IA value. They must be loyal, not hostile, okay, without diplomacy, not hostile, loyal, and that's totally random. You need a free or compatible army slot, like it's the same creature, or a slot, an empty slot. And no, they will never join if they are ghosts or elementals, okay? With diplomacy, you can bypass the natural hostility of the troops and recruit hostile creature for gold. At basic, up to 20% of the stack, but you are paying the full stack for only 20% of its troop, which is very not good. At advanced, 50% of the troop for the price of a full stack of the troop, and at expert, the whole troop. the whole army. And this can create a real snowball effect. You recruit some, your army gets stronger, more neutrals want to join you, your army snowballs, and you steamroll the map. But there is the catch. You need gold, and a lot of gold. If you don't have the exact amount of gold, you can't recruit at all. And you already need a strong army to intimidate neutrals, which can be kind of clumsy. Plus, if you don't have room in your army and they want to join you, you can decline, you are forced into combat. Verdict: diplomacy is a skill that makes the strong even stronger and accelerates your tempo like crazy, like you can roll over the map if all the planets are aligned for this skill to work. For me, it can be a S tier in the right conditions, especially at advanced level and expert, but honestly, overall, diplomacy can climb to S tier and deserve a A- tier. Because it's too situational to have the potential to have it like working every time you get it. So it can be an S tier. Diplomacy is very controversial and I can't wait to hear from you. Next up, we move to Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye. This skill is funny because it inspires both tenderness and despair. Sometimes we all ask ourselves, is Eagle Eye really that useless? So let's check what the manual actually says about it. Basic level of Eagle Eye lets you 20% chance to learn a level 1 to 2 spell cast by an enemy hero in combat. At advanced level you get 30% chance of getting a level 1 to 3 spell. And at expert level you only get 40% chance to get a level 1 to 4. Yes, not even a level 5. Help please. And then reality kicks in. At best you get a 40% chance of learning one single spell from level 1 to 4 cast by your opponent, and only after the battle ends, not even before the battle starts. That's amazing. It's so useless. The only usefulness is when you are forced to take it and you Guardian on the Might with have not wisdom and can maybe catch some spells, but that's already too late. The percentage of getting is very low. You have a too little chance to get something out of this skill. So to me, of course, it's a D tier. Yes, get off. It's a D tier. Estates. Oh, the money. Moving on. Money, cash, gold. Basic estates allow your hero to generate plus 100 gold per day more. At advanced level, it's plus 250. And at expert level, it's plus 500 gold per day. Now, gold in Heroes 2 is always scarce. So this skill definitely has some utility, but you really don't want to put it on your main hero. Why? Because by the time you hit expert and get 500 gold per day, the impact is way too small to make it really useful. You need another skill to make your main hero powerful. Instead, it's nice to have it on a secondary heroes. Sure, they won't level up much, so they probably stay at basic or advanced, but hey, it's free gold. And when it pops up on the secondary hero, you're very glad to take it. So yeah, estates to me go in B- tier, but in B tier. And even on the main hero, you are not that disappointed to get it. I love having more gold on a game which is very, very low in cash, comparing to Heroes 3, for an example. Now we move to leadership. Leadership got two utilities. A minor one allows you to pick up certain artifacts on the adventure map that require a true leader. Honestly, it's kind of anecdotal. But if it's on Nomad Boots, you're very happy to have leadership. But the main one, of course, it's that it boosts your army morale. At basic level, you get +1 morale. At advanced level, +2 morale, and expert +3 morale. Morale in Heroes of Might and Magic series is huge. It lets you mix the troops without losing turns, and it even gives you the chance to attack twice in the same round. And that's crazy impactful on a game by turn. So leadership, boom, literally is an S tier, an absolute S tier. Of course, undead and elemental aren't effective, and necromancer can't learn it at all. And there is no utility on a necromancer, but still, leadership is very strong overall. For me, when you get another faction that necromancy, you should take it right away when you can, and even unless it is another S tier, which is coming right after it, you can't deny leadership. That's too important. And now we move to logistics. Logistic is at the top of the tier list, at the top of all the skill. Always useful, always essential. Movement movement on the adventure map is everything. It lets you do more in one turn. It lets you snowball faster and get ahead of your opponent before they get too strong. In basic level it's plus 10% movement, in advanced it's plus 20%, in expert it's plus 30%. Every time you see logistics, whether in a widget or as a level up option, you are thrilled. It's an instant pick for your main. It's a undisputed, undebatable S tier. End of story for me. Now we move to luck. Luck, no need. Sorry. Now for luck, this one increase your luck stat by a +1 at basic, +2 at advanced, and a +3 at expert level. When luck triggers, you get a nice rainbow pop up on your unit. Your stack does instant double damage. And doubling your power stack damage is absolutely amazing. On 14 total secondary skills, this is one that you want on your main hero. It strike hard. It allows you to strike hard before the enemy does it. Of course, it has that RNG factor, but it's not guaranteed, which is why I don't. It doesn't reach the S tier, but it's still a very solid A tier, and I think it's right here. Is it better than Archery? I don't think so, because of the RNG and the lack of consistency, but I say it's equivalent overall. You guys tell me what you think in the comments, and I can't wait to read your takes. Mysticism, the yin and yang, woo! This one regenerates extra spell points per day. Basic at +2 points per day, advanced +3 points of mana per day, and expert at +4. On paper, it sounds useful, but in practice, it's totally not useful. It's quite useful because, yeah, you are quite happy to have some mana pool to regenerate without going on a well or a magic guild and restore it in your town, and avoid resting overnight and waste some movement points. But in practical, what's in theory, but it ends up to be very disappointing. It might help you sometimes, maybe in early game, but picking it always feel like a letdown and like you don't want it. So it's a C tier. It's weak, it's embarrassing, it's almost never worth it, but it's not that useless. Now we move to navigation. Ooh, another controversial one. It allows you to get plus 50% movement at basic on ocean, plus 100% more movement points at advanced level, and plus 150% at spell level. And it's huge! Imagine, If that applied on land, it will be an absolutely broken S tier. On water it still matters, but a lot less. On water heavy map it's super strong, super useful. If you got a lot of map of ocean, of water, you got to take it like it's next tier, even better than logistic, I would say. But on land maps and exclusive land maps, it's totally useless. Yes, even worse than Eagle Eye. So if you don't have water, you will pick up Eagle Eye over navigation. That being said, you'll still be glad to find it, especially on a secondary hero, like a hero you want to put on the sea. So yeah, navigation is really B tier, like boats. And I guess it's a low B tier because it's very situational, but when it is useful, it's very useful. You are very happy to have navigation on war maps. You can collect a lot of gold, a lot of treasure chests, and of course the I don't know in English naufragé, the one the guy in tell me in the comments naufragé, the guy lost in the sea on a wood, which is to be saved and give you sometimes a really nice artifact. There you go. I don't have Google Translate ready yet, so sorry for my English, but you got, I think, what I say. And now we move to Necromancy. Ooh, Necromancy. I don't know why I do this. This skill is the most exclusive to Necromancers, though in theory Warlocks can get it, but the chance is microscopic. It lets you raise a percentage of fallen units as skeletons. At basic level, it's 10% of the troops. Advanced level, it's 20%, and at expert level, it's 30%. And that's huge. This one is very hard to rank of school, because it's given by default to Necromancer. You almost never pick it manually on another hero. But if you consider that you have to choose to raise Necromancy against choosing another skill, you will raise a Necromancy unless it's logistic, by the way. Or Archer, even Archery on Necro, no, but luck, debates, okay? But you want to pick up very, very systematically, you want to go to expert level as soon as possible to raise a big, powerful army of skeletons, which is your main power pack on the Necromancer with Bone Dragons and, of course, the Vampire Lord. Blah! So yeah, it convinced myself, it's an S tier when it's useful, it's very, very useful, and it's not situational because it's dedicated to a war faction, and I won't tell that it's situational because when you get it on a hero you want it, and you don't have it on other heroes. So yeah, it's amazing. I love Necromancy. To me, it's an S tier, of course. Now we move to Pathfinding. Pathfinding, or Orientation in French, as I like to joke. This one is super situational. But no. This one is not that situational. It reduces the movement penalties from rough terrains. And there is a lot of rough terrains. Beaches, beaches? Wastelands. You know, the beach, well, I'm sorry. Fun fact, the wasteland are reused in the factory native terrain of Horn of the Abyss, the snow, by the way, the swamps, and of course the absolutely worst land, the land of firsts, the desert, the nightmare of every kind of hero. Basic Pathfinding remove 20% of the penalty, advanced 50%, and expert level 100%. All the penalty is removed. So it's a A- tier because you don't have the utility of it in every scenario. But overall, it's a really good skill. Oftenly you will use it. So yeah. It's definitely A- tier. It has carried me in so many games. I just love it. Glory to Pathfinding, which is like a cheap version of Logistic, you know. sometimes you kind of prefer pathfinding over logistics if there is a lot of rough terrains. Scatting. Basic scatting give you +1 radius vision all around your hero. Advanced level +2 vision radius, and expert level +3 vision radius. This is mostly useful on secondary heroes, scouts who go out for, well, scouting. On huge map it saves you a lot of time exploring, but honestly it's not that strong. In Heroes of Might and Magic 3 with Heroes View of the Abyss, the skill has been boosted with a +5 radius, which is massive. In Heroes 2 it's only +3 at expert level, but will usually prefer overskill. It's not not useful, but it's like, yeah, it's around B tier, and I would put it well in the middle of B tier, like right, I don't know, there or there. I would say it's really important to have vision in turn by turn. I would put it in top B tier, because yeah, scouting can allow you to get an objective early on and say, oh, wow, this objective is really important. So in Heroes of Might and Magic 2 it's very important to not waste a lot of movement points going anywhere, and scouting lets you find more quickly the spot you want. Okay, now we move to wisdom. I don't know why I say wisdom. Wisdom, the queen of love it or hate it skills. It has two utilities. A minor one lets you pick up certain wise-only artifacts on the map, and a major one, of course the main one. It lets you learn higher level spells from your mage guild. The basic level of wisdom lets you access to level 3 spells, advanced level to level 4, and expert level to level 5. Given how insanely powerful spells can be in the game, wisdom is between S tier and A tier. Some people rank it in S tier, and to me, I would like to say it's a S tier at first. But when I discussed with my friends of Heroes of Might and Magic 2, like Mushron Kipate, Netheril, and Winimaru Baba, it was not that mandatory. Depending on your hero class, you might not need it, or you might prefer other skills instead of it. So I will settle it in A tier, and I will settle it in middle of A tier, maybe under Archery. No, over Archery, because, well, there is a lot of room for debate, because at first I was like, it's an absolute S tier. But if you just consider it, that it will not be that impactful for some hero like barbarians with a lot of with not a lot of mana pool. It can be clumsy to use like Dimension Door on a barbarian which have not a lot of knowledge. So sometimes it will be not useful. And well, I think it's a good spot because A tier and A+ tier is a very nice spot. It's very excellent, but sometimes it's not like that systematic, that it is useful to pick up wisdom over advanced necromancy or leadership or logistics. And archery, it's a lot of debates because archery can be situational. And that's the end. And that's the end. That's the end of the tier list, of my tier list. And now I will summon one of the most brilliant streamer over the world, my friend Phixfox.
Hello, Pixo. How are you doing, sir? It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm doing very fine, and I can't wait to hear from you for this tier list. What do you think?
Right on. Yeah, I think that this is a good-looking tier list. So, a couple things that I think that are non-negotiable that I love. I love that your tier list includes logistics and leadership in the S tier. I think that they are high quality secondary skills that are always a good time. But it is important for me to ask you the question, sir. What is S tier to you? I think that we all can say comparatively from S to A to B to C to D tier that there are levels to how good a secondary skill is. But in your opinion, what makes a secondary skill S tier?
S tier is almost a non-negotiable skill when it comes up, and yes, there are almost no way you can refuse it unless it is another S tier like logistic or necromancy for leadership, for instance. Yes, but S tier is like systematic. Systematic, yes.
Perfect. So is my understanding then for this tier list, if you are a warlock and you get offered necromancy, or if necromancy pops up in a witch's hut somewhere and you are like a knight or something, is necromancy still something that you should get all the time, or is necromancy in the S tier specifically because when you're a necromancer, you must have it, and it's a S tier skill at that point?
Yes, that's it. I don't think you can be offered necromancy for another faction than warlock and necromancer, even in a sorceress hut, witch's hut. I don't think you can be offered that in a witch hut. I'm pretty sure about this. Have you ever seen necromancy in a witch hut?
I don't think I have. I just assumed that you could put it in there, funny enough.
No,
I don't think I've ever seen
can't.
it.
No, you can't. You just can't. And leadership 2. Leadership 2 is a non-available skill in witch hut. Because necromancers can't learn leadership, yes.
You just taught me something brand new that I really appreciate. I would have gone the entire rest of my life thinking that I was just really unlucky and never had found a necromancy in a witch's hut or leadership for that matter. So thank you for that.
Yes.
In that case, it makes it absolutely S tier. If you get the opportunity for necromancy, it may be a little bit niche, but I think that it is fitting for that S tier then.
Yeah, and you're really making a good point about warlocks, because warlocks is kind of versatile, but I think it's only 5% chance to get it with a warlock. It's 5 or 10% chance. I don't remember the correct numbers, but it's so low that I didn't include it in the choices for my tier list, because well, it's so niche. So you see. I didn't put it in balance.
That's okay. It's still such a good secondary skill that even with that other, possibility that it's still fitting, I believe, of the S tier. Again, going to the idea of if it's available, you should take it.
Yep, or upgrade it for necromancer as soon as you have necromancy. I think. Unless you get a better choice for a better tempo, yes, you want those skeletons very, very, very soon in the game, very early in the game. Sorry.
Yeah, if it's week or month of the peasant, that's just a gift for the necromancers, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, your brother was right.
Well, I love the S tier. I think that is a great choice and great reasoning for including necromancy up there. I think that a lot of people, I don't think anyone's going to argue that logistics and leadership should belong in S tier. Have you heard of any criticisms? Has anyone
Nope.
thought that logistics or leadership? Yeah, okay.
No. It's absolutely S tier. It's so cool to have those two skills. If maybe leadership sometimes it's not that useful, but well, I guess if you have to make a show, it's systematic, yes, because you want this morale, you want to mix your army. I think it's non-negotiable, yes.
Non-negotiable. I'm on board with that. And with that though, so the term non-negotiable, right? When we're talking about wisdom, I personally, I know that I would put wisdom into S tier for myself because I worry about not getting 4th and 5th level spells. But I've heard that there's been a conversation amongst the Heroes of Might and Magic 2 community about why maybe wisdom shouldn't be S tier. So I know that I think it should be an S tier, but can you let me in on a little bit more of the secret about why you've placed wisdom into the A tier? Because I've heard that there's a good conversation there.
Yes, to be honest, that's the privilege of the UK tier list, because it's a tier list that came after the French one, and it's I don't know to say ponderate. I don't know, with advice of my friends of the French community. How do you say it? Pondéré, balanced? Yeah, balanced, I guess. No.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
that works for me. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it has come to the I was like you. I put it in S tier because I do consider that wisdom is like a non-negotiable skill. When you can have it, you should have it, so you can get a powerful spell and stuff. But it did appear that it's factually situational on some hero, like and specifically the might ones. When you got first or second mage guild level spell, you are pretty happy. And if you have to choose between wisdom and I don't know, leadership or logistic, maybe even archery or luck, sometimes you will choose archery or luck instead of wisdom. Sometimes you will pick wisdom because, well, the barbarians, the knights, have not a lot of knowledge, so sometimes it can be awkward to use fourth or fifth level spell mage guild, because they are pretty expensive in mana. So you get what I'm saying. It's not a bad skill, it's an excellent skill, A+ tier. It's amazing for a ranking, but it's not systematic, you know? Well, that's why.
Yeah. Again, going back to that term, non-negotiable. If it's a really small map, if you are a knight or a barbarian, if the map does not have a lot of resources,
Yes,
and you're not going to be able to get up to a third, fourth, or fifth level mage guild, then there are absolutely, as you say, situations where you might not want to take wisdom. And so I can absolutely see how, when we're defining S tier the way we have, that reasoning, I find it to be very valid. And I'm happy to see that wisdom is at the very top of A tier, at the A+ of the A tier, as you say. But also, I do recognize that could definitely keep it out of the S tier. So I like that reasoning. I appreciate that conversation, because it's really easy to just have a gut reaction and you just oh, this is the way it is. But thoughtfully reasoning out what makes the best sense, you will find those opportunities where, yeah, wisdom's just not it. So, okay, I like that thought process there.
Yes, nice.
I have to tell you, maybe out of the A tier, the other secondary skill that maybe a newer player might look past would be diplomacy. They might not recognize that diplomacy is A tier. Archery, direct damage in combat. Luck, direct damage in combat. Pathfinding, anybody that's been in a desert knows that they really wish they had pathfinding. But a newer player might not recognize how good diplomacy is, and I'm happy to see that it's appropriately leveled here in the A tier with its secret, quote-unquote, special ability by allowing you to retreat at a reduced cost, and also, of course, the snowball effect that diplomacy can have.
Yeah, indeed.
I feel like you were really smart in putting diplomacy where you did for that reason. I just wanted to point that out, that other people might not recognize the value of diplomacy, but I'm glad you've recognized it here.
That's very funny, because that's exactly what I say in my tier list. Because you didn't hear the tier list, of course. But yes, that's exactly what I'm pointing out. It's that this skill is very, very underrated, because sometimes you can say, oh, it's very clunky to use. You need, of course, it's not a S tier, because you need the good condition to use it. You can't use it on a very small map. You can use it when there is no possibility to use it when you get it too late in the game or stuff. But if you can have it very early and snowball by recruiting with expert level, you can just run on the map and it's over. So that's why it's a very, very nice skill. And of course, you said the overutilization, mostly niche against the main utilization, of course, but it can be very useful to go Xanadu sooner and Redition for low cost. Well, that can be a game changer. Yes. So thank you for pointing out it.
I'm glad that we were of the same mind. We weren't sharing notes here. We just both know Heroes of Might and Magic very well, and we both arrived at the same conclusion. I like that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I love your B tier. I think that your B tier is solid. Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
So Mysticism in the C tier and Eagle Eye in the D tier. Are there any ways that Mysticism or Eagle Eye could be changed that would make them at least B tier? Is there any way that we could adjust the secondary skills? Right now with F Heroes 2, everything is staying the exact same. The map maker, the F Heroes 2 developers are not looking to make modifications to the game. They're keeping the game the way it was. But in the future, there will be mod support, and it will be possible for people to make adjustments to secondary skills. Are there any ways that we could maybe adjust Mysticism in the future, kind of like Horn of the Abyss did with some of the Heroes 3 secondary skills, to make it relevant in the late game or better, so it's not C or D tier?
Yeah, you got the point. I was about to say. You just need to apply the 1.7.2 patch of Horn of the Abyss, and you get your answer, my friend. That's what they did with those two skills is really great with Mysticism and Eagle Eye. I'm sorry, yes. In Heroes 3, it's Mysticism 2, the name of a refund of mana. I'm having all. It's very late in France. It's Mysticism 2, yes. Yes. So yes, basically you can apply the percentage of mana instead of the flat points you can get, and unless in the early levels. Maybe you can have a flat plus a percentage, and then it can be very relevant, and maybe go in B tier if you have I don't know 5 points per day at basic level plus 10% of your mana. I don't know. Then at advanced level you can have I don't know 5 points again, but then 20% of your mana pool and so on. You know. So that could be maybe relevant with a percentage. What do you think?
I love that idea. And I'm not as familiar with Horn of the Abyss as I am with Heroes 2, but yeah, I think that would be a percentage-based change that lets it scale into the late game. That makes a lot of sense there for me.
Yeah. It could scale, yeah. And Eagle Eye, you know how it works in Horn of the Abyss?
I don't. I do not. How does it work in Horn of the Abyss?
So Eagle Eye in Horn of the Abyss allows you to see before the battle begins. You can see your opponent's spells, and you can learn whatever he casts you don't have, and during the battle, and you can use it straight from the battle. So it's really amazing. Yep.
That is a good change. I really love that, because that's always been the biggest complaint with Eagle Eye is that, well, it only comes into effect after the battle itself, and only if your opponent uses the spell. I love that the possibility of using any spell before they use it and just having that available to you before the battle has concluded. What a good change to make an otherwise horrible secondary skill viable. I wish that there was an F tier here, because I think that Eagle Eye would maybe be 2 whole rows below Mysticism there currently as it stands. I love that change that they made for Horn of the Abyss. I think that was definitely enough to get it up to B tier in my personal opinion, at least.
Yes. Expert Eagle Eye allows you to view all enemy spells in combats at any times and gives you your hero 60% chance to learn any spell from enemy hero before the beginning of the combat, as well as the spell usage. And yes, it can be game changing sometimes. So, well, it's not a S tier, but in some situation it can be very useful, and knowing what he's gonna cast or having to cast can really change a game. Like if he got chain lightning and you can prot air before he chain you, and you know he doesn't have a meteor shower, that can change everything. So yes, it could be very interesting they do this.
I love it. For now, though, I will 100% agree with you that Mysticism and Eagle Eye ought to remain in the C and D tier, respectively. So it's a good tier list. Maybe in the future that will change, where the C and the D tier will get into the B tier. But for now, I think that from top to bottom, it's a good-looking tier list, and I got nothing but good things to say about it.
Nice. Thank you, my friend. Thank you as always. You are always a very nice guest. I'm so happy to have you, my dear Phixfox, and I'm so fan of your work. I'm so fond in what you do, for your community, all the videos you do, like last one for F Heroes update. That was so great to have, like you just serve the patch note on a plate, and for us it's like a gift. So you are wonderful, sir. Thank you very much for all you do for the Heroes of Might and Magic community and the game. You are so great. And I am, you know what? I am very sad because my English speaking, my fluence is so bad. So I can tell you how much I care for what you do. And if I could do it in French, I'd do it in French, but everyone gonna say, oh, what is he saying? But yes, you are amazing. You are amazing, and I lack of words and fluency for that. So I'm very sorry for that.
Pixo, you are magnanimous. I am grateful for the very, very kind words, and all of my good energy goes right back to you. First off, I do think that your English is wonderful. I always appreciate it every time that we get the chance to spend time. And hey, my hope is that someday some of your excellent fluency in French will rub off on me, because every single time someone gives me a French tongue twister, I feel like I'm not quite doing it. So hopefully with your care and with your help, I will eventually get to the point where I can have an open and free conversation with you in your native tongue. So, sir, thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate your continued friendship, and I'm so grateful for everything that you do with Heroes of Might and Magic. And I look forward to spending some good quality time with you as things move on. Friends for life.
Yes, wonderful. Of course, friends for life. Thank you very much, my friend. See you around. Bye.
Take good care. Bye.
And that's the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Heroes of Might and Magic content. Most importantly, leave your thoughts in the comments, your rankings, your fun facts, your strategies, or even corrections of what I said, of additional thoughts. Thank you for everything you can say about this game. I absolutely love reading and debating with you guys. It's what makes that community so crazy and amazing. If you've got ideas for future Heroes of Might and Magic 2 tier list I haven't done yet, suggest them below. I will be happy to check them out. And of course, even if I'm a French speaker, don't hesitate to feel free to join me on Twitch as well, where we share this passion and discussion in live. It's a great atmosphere. I can speak English too, even if my English is not that good in live action. But I got a lot of kindness and fun. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next guy. Bye bye.